Ende atimboda earGROUND yakaipa mazviziva. Hanzi ndiyo inongotora mikombe yose saka musarwadziwa. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Aineti kudzokorora earGROUND Zimbabwe.
earGROUND Radio. New voices amplified.
Welcome to earGROUND, and my name is King Boaz, New Voices Amplified, and today I am with another queen. I don't know, but it seems like royalty is always around me all the time, and today I have someone who needs no introduction, the diva, Nyasha Mtamangira. How are you doing? And welcome to the show.
Hi, King. How are you doing?
No, I'm good. I'm good. How is everything?
Everything is great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
It's been a long time. Actually, I am interested in telling you about the first time I met you, and I knew that you're a diva. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So the first time I met you, you're putting on a red shoe with is it called an Alice band or something? That was red. That was red.
The Alice band.
Yes, and then with red earrings, and you had a cell phone which had some, I don't know what they call it or if it's still in fashion, but back then it used to be popular with women. Some string that was hanging on your phone that was red, and then you had I think it was a blazer or a top that had some dots. I think it was white with red dots. So we were looking like a diva, and I was told no, she's one of the producers here. I'm like, nah, she can't be. That person just walked out of a magazine. Please stop it.
You can't be saying that. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, because you know, like when you meet someone for the first time, you don't say everything you think, you know, like, so you're trying to be a good guy. So I was still trying to be Boaz and feeling the place, and you know, but before I knew it, I was used to that. Okay, every day for diva, it's a diva day. It doesn't matter what season, she will be diva all the time. Yeah.
Every day is an occasion.
You still rock like that now, Jeff. You still roll like that.
Okay. I won't roll exactly like the red that you saw that day, but definitely I still put lots of effort into every look. So I'm still like that. But you know how when you grow up, you diversify, you try other things, and you say, yeah, this won't work for me. I was younger then, now I'm older, and you're pushing a mature look. And if you look at my page and my pictures, you actually see the journey, and you'll be like, oh, wow. But now I think I like this look. I like the person I've become. And yeah, I love it.
Nice. You know, like when you're watching all these international celebrities, when they come on shows, who you're rocking, they'll be talking about this and that. And it's interesting that when I will ask that question, you'll be saying, I'm rocking myself. That's some power right there. So without going ahead of ourselves, we'll come back to the DIVA brand and what it's about. So if you're watching right now, just hang on, and we'll be giving you more on the DIVA brand. Now let's go back to the beginning. I would say you are a loud personality. You I don't know if loud is appropriate word. You're a bold personality. If you get into the room, everyone will see. Even those that don't know you, they'll be asking themselves like, who's that kid? Yeah, who's that, you know? So has this always been like, do you remember when growing up, was this Nyasha all the time? Was this you all the time? Did you grow with that, or this is something that at some point in your life you're like, I need to be like this?
Actually, King, Absolutely not, is how I can answer that question. I was a totally different person, that in such a way that some people who met me when I had already started my media journey, they were shocked, people that I went to school with, and they never thought I would choose media and turn out to be a media personality. And they were thinking, how are you suddenly so bold, and how are you suddenly able to speak like that on television? So it came as a shock, because I was never like that. I was a bit closed in, worse off in primary school, a bit better in high school, but generally I was not that loud person. This person just developed at a certain point in my life when I sort of found out what my passion was and the path that I wanted to take. I think at the point I knew that I wanted to do media, that's when I started to grow into it. So if you went to college with me, you will then see that, oh, that's probably where the diva started. But primary school, high school, I was just another kid, probably one of the whack kids. And I never really thought, oh, she's going to be so amazing, later on in life. You know how it's like the nerds at school, they are the ones who are then, later on, they're the ones with the money. You know how it's like.
So growing up, did you aspire to be anything else that was in media? What was it that you growing up to be? Because I remember myself around high school, I would sit down with my father and dream about it, being an astrologer, telling him that no, I think my passion is astrology, stars. Like I would sit there and study the names of stars and stuff like that. What was your dream? What was your thing? Saying like, this is what I want to be, because we are forced. Like you had all these questions. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Okay. I was sort of faced with a lot of I don't knows. I never really knew which path that I wanted to take. Earlier on as a kid, remember, we were just accustomed to the lawyer, doctor, nurse kind of profession. So I just picked one and said, I want to be a lawyer. But it's not really something that I never really had a passion with it. It's not even something that I pushed. It's just something that I said, but not that I even wanted to be one. I remember at a certain point, I was actually being told by my parents to say, at some point, you're going to have to decide so that you can aspire, so that we know which direction to push you. But I didn't know until at a certain point, my mom actually tells this better. She's got these books that she kept. I think when I was about 7, 8, there was a picture book that I had. So I wrote a story using the pictures. So I wrote on each page, and I wrote a story that made sense. So my mom kept that. And then on in years, I was writing short stories. I was writing novels. I'll just get a counter book and I'll just tell this story, completely fictional, So that's when my mom started having to pick out these things to say, maybe this is the direction that she should go. So when I said, I want to do media, she took out those books and she says, I think that's the path that you need to go. So she still has them. She says, I want to keep them and then just show Andile or later on to say, this is like where I kind of traced. So which means that every child, there's something that you can trace in whatever they are doing in their behavior. If you watch them closely, you will see the direction that they should go in life. So I think my destiny then just drew me to media. So because I was writing, when I had an opportunity to go for attachment, I really thought my place was Chronicle. But when I went to Chronicle, well, I just discovered, maybe not really. And one of the editors there, and let me just not mention his name, but I'll never forget what he said, the news editor there. And he just looks at me one day and he says, you know what? Journalism is not for you. I think you should try modeling or something. It was very painful at the time when he said it, but now I just laugh about it. That's when, after I finished college, that's when I thought, maybe let me do the TV thing, with the maybe TV is my thing. So I went in that direction.
Yeah, all right, nice. we'll get back to, maybe we'll come back to Chronicle as we go on. But now let's go back to you starting as a peer educator. This is one of the things that you list as is something that was an achievement, having grown as someone who was not so involved in this, or who kept to herself, to so to say, who wasn't seen as someone who can stand up and speak. How did this come about, where you thought you can peer educate and share skills with other kids, and how was this experience, and how did this come about?
Okay. Normally, what my parents did, let me say what my parents did was, when somebody finishes school, whether it was my older sister, or it's me, or it's my younger sister, they would look for something for you that would be a gap year where you can just at least explain. And I must say that the peer educating with Scripture Union is actually something that then helped me to boost my confidence, where I then discovered I actually can be a mentor to some people, which is why so many people feel drawn. You know, sometimes when I'm just moving off tangent there, sometimes when I feel down, I remember the people and the young girls that look up to me, the girls that have told me that we love you, we love your show, you know, so that's just something that I just thought I should touch on. But the education for me, I felt that if you have something, King, Boaz, if you have something with you, you should pass it on to the younger ones. You see, if somebody wants to do the same thing that you're doing and they're behind you, why watch them struggle when you have something that you can tell them? So for me, I thought, let me do this. Let me engage myself with young people. Let me share what I have. I didn't have much back then, but the fact that you've gone through high school, if someone is still in primary school or in Form 1 or whatever, you have something that you can share with them. You've gone through certain things, peer pressure, struggles with grades or something, things that younger kids are facing. So it was easy for me to say, no, let me just share, let me help, so that struggle that I went through can be shorter for them. But we have a tendency as Black people, excuse me to say Black people, but that's how it is, to say, if I have the contact and I struggle to get it, then I shouldn't just give it away. That's the thing that we have. We don't know that the more we give away what we have, we are empowering each other as Black people, which is why sometimes we don't go far as a people, because we block each other out. If I've gone there and it has worked for me, then I shouldn't share. Then they should go through the same struggle. I can't just hand it over. That's how we think. Yeah. So for me, that's where I think I learned how to share, how to motivate, how to give out what I have. And even when I became somebody who people look up to, I never struggled. If somebody comes, there are people who came to me and say, and then they would say, can you teach me how to present? How do you do it? I was open. I wouldn't, because I struggled. My struggle to get onto TV was quite a struggle. But then if somebody came to the studio or whatever and they need help, and what should I do? I'll say, come through the auditions on this date and whatever, help in any way I could. You know, that's what I purposed and said. I'm not going to be the stingy person, the person that wants to then shut everybody out. And I think maybe I learned that early at that stage when I was mentoring those younger kids. So I learned that early, and I think it's a skill that has then helped me even through life. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Now let's look at your presence at Chronically, and then that was about 2 years at Chronically, and then you moved to ZBC in 2008. The transition from print media to television, how did this work, and maybe what's the difference for you? Why do you find TV easier than print media? Maybe if you can paint that picture. I'm asking this question also to help someone who wants to choose, who has a choice of saying print media or TV. What do they look at in their skill set to say, I think I'm better off with TV, or I think I'm better off with print media?
Okay. I spent just a few months with the Chronicle because it was attachment. And then I went back to school. But anyway, that time was enough for me to see that this perhaps is not really for me. In the sense that I felt that I need to be out there. I need people not only to read that byline on the newspaper and say Nyasha wrote this story. I need people to see there's Nyasha, she's talking to us. And I felt that it's more interactive. And if I need to make a point, if I need to emphasize something, it's totally different. It's totally on another level, which is why you see that TV came after print, even in the inventions. That goes to show that there's something that was that they needed to take a step higher. So I felt that TV for me was good because I can interact. People can see me. They can associate my name and my face, and they can know who I am. And I felt that was what I needed, and that was what I wanted. But then you find there are people who prefer to say, I just want to tell stories. I don't need people to see me, but I just want to tell stories. I want to update people on things that are happening in the city, in the world, all over. But I don't want to see, okay? So print would be good for somebody like that, okay? And with print media, it has certain categories, just like television. With print media, you can either go into hard news, or you can go to the feature articles, and then maybe you can have a column where you speak about fashion or whatever. So it just depends on your skill set and your passion. You could be interested, like I was interested in fashion, but I didn't want to talk about fashion and put one picture. I wanted the people to see people dressed in those clothes, walking, see for themselves, get the feel of the fashion. That's where the difference is. Somebody else would feel comfortable and say, okay, here are my tips, wear black, do this when you're going for an interview, and they just write it in a story and they feel that it's enough. Not that it has no impact, but we're different. And there are people who get touched by that. So it's not in vain. There are people who will be touched through those stories. So it all depends on who you are, where your passion is, how you feel you should express yourself. If you feel you need to talk like me, and not only talk, I've got a good voice, but I thought I don't have a radio face. I've got a TV face. So let me go inside so that I can speak and I can be seen and I can inspire and people can associate my name and my face and who I am. So I think for those who want to choose or make a transition or whatever, it's just a matter of searching your soul, because it's all journalism. We're all passionate about telling stories. We're all passionate about going out there and being able to share something. So it now depends on how you want to share. If you just want to tell your stories without being seen, then maybe you're a print person. But if you want to tell news and you want people to see, hence that's why you get the television news guys. Okay, they are journalists, but you see them piece to cam and they're talking to you. You know, this is whoever reporting from wherever. So it really depends on who you are. You just have to check, search within yourself and see who you are.
All right, awesome. Now, 2008, looking at it, I would say this was a big year for you in terms of you were compiler, continuity, television producer, and you even went on to Small House Saga and also featured on the short film that was at Intwasa Festival. Maybe if you can briefly tell us how your break came about and how do you find yourself on the Small House Saga. I remember Small House Saga was big at this time. It was every actor stream in 2008. So if you can maybe take us through that process and how do you get on Small House Saga and how was 2008 in general for you as a big break for you?
I'll tell you that was one of my best years. Why? I was straight out of college. I had not that I don't have this passion anymore, but you know, when you're young and you're getting out of school,
You're hungry.
Unstoppable. The passion is just too much. So I'll tell you funny stories right now about how I got onto the stuff that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. Become a programs compiler at ZBC. I will tell you that I didn't know anyone there. I went to Pockets Hill. I looked for the television productions department. I said, here I am. Give me a job, you know? And and there was a lady at that time who was like, oh, I won't mention her. And she was like, oh, okay, interesting. And she's like, okay, so if I give you something, anything, you're ready? I said, anything, give me anything, and I'm in. As long as I'm in, that's fine. And it was a Thursday. And she says, if I tell you to come to work on Thursday, will you come on Monday? I said, yes, I will. And then she was like, okay, maybe I should give this kid a chance. Okay. So just like that, I found myself at Pockets Hill. All right. And I was a programs compiler will sound like a fancy name, you know, but it's not. It's just and at that time we were carrying those huge Itacam tapes from the studio to the transmission room to the library. So it was just a matter of going to set to say, okay, these tapes should be in order at 6 o'clock. There's this program, and you just make sure that everything rolls in order. It was a whole different ball game then. The whole system has improved. Yeah. So that was what it was. And I would carry those from the studio to the transmission to the library, to the archive. And I will not remove my heels. Hey, I'll be wearing my heels. I'll be carrying my tapes. I'll be walking down. I'll be going up the stairs the whole day, you know. So, so I think somehow they just realized that I was so passionate. So at the end of 3 months, I got confirmed and I got a better job. I was now a producer for continuity updates. And so it was amazing. So at that time, there was Kimberly, Jefferson. They're the ones who were doing the continuity updates. So the funny thing is there was a time when they couldn't come on air for certain reasons, which I can't mention. And then my boss at the time just said, you're the producer, no octopid. It's like that. You know? And the funny thing is, when I was still a programs compiler, I skipped that part. When I was still a programs compiler, I went for auditions for continuity. There was another producer at the time. And and the thing, I got into the studio, and even the studio guys are like, oh, wow, when you did your audition, and everyone's like, oh, wow. And they were like turning to the producer, say, and then she just did not feel that I was
good enough.
Yeah. And then I said, oh, no, fine. I continued with my tapes. So the funny thing is, that's how I just got on air. I just said, no octopin, and that was it. So I was on air just like that. And you asked me about Small House Saga. I told you it was a crazy year because I was still very bold. So I saw one of the actors, if you remember, CC, the one who had locks at the time on Small House Saga. And I just said to him, I want to act. I saw him come to the studio leaving one of the episodes for Small House Saga. And I just said to him, you know what? I want to act. I want to come on you guys' show. And they gave me a chance, and they gave me an audition. And I passed. And that's how I got in. I was just so bold. I could go out. I could go for anything. Yeah.
Awesome. And having all these breaks and being on TV so much and having that experience of 2008, how did this change your outlook and your drive going towards TV? What was the future for you? What did you pursue then? Like, you've done everything. You've been on TV. You've directed people. This is your first year on TV. What is it that you wanted to conquer after that?
Okay. I was pretty much wanting to go for anything, for everything. I felt that whatever idea that I have, I should pursue it. I should go for it. So I wanted to do like radio news at the time. But then I started like training for radio news. And then I actually didn't really quite finish the training because I had to come back and work from home. So now when I was working from home in Bulawayo, so when I was now working in Bulawayo, I felt that Bulawayo didn't have an impact on national broadcast. I felt that whatever program that I had should showcase what is taking place here, because I felt that there was great talent in this place that was not being seen by the rest of the country. So I went on fashion and style. Fashion and style, it uplifted the models from Bulawayo, the designers. I got them all on the show. You know, they were unbelievable designers at that time. And I made sure that everyone got on board. I worked with Sarah Mpofu, and she would assist me to like get models on board so that everyone could get some exposure, which I felt that people need to see what is happening here. So with every program that I did, in my mind, I was saying the rest of the country needs to know what is happening here. And when I went on Up and Personal, that's when I said, I'm taking everybody, man. If you're a musician, if you're doing this, if you're doing that, come on the show. We want to see you. We want to hear what you're talking about. A lot of people from Bulawayo can attest to the fact that I really did get almost everyone on the show. Now maybe wasala nye chance, but I really tried to get everyone on the show. And at this point, at that point, I felt that I need to uplift these people. I need people to know. Even King Carl, may his soul rest in peace. He actually told me that one of his first big interviews was on my show. You know? And people who were not known at the time, who are known now, they've been on my show. I cut across to business. I had even the business names. And even those people that I felt their song was not being sung hard enough, I'll make sure they come on the show so that people can get to hear what they're doing. But the most unfortunate thing, I'm not complaining, but the most unfortunate thing is that I never really got recognition for what I did.
The flowers.
I never got some accolades of some sort. I can't say maybe I didn't deserve them, but I did my best to say we need people to see the great artists that are in this city, and that was just my drive. And I was saying, no, man, because every time, and the funny thing was, every time I got off a show, maybe check Facebook to see, did anyone comment? People would think I'm in Harare. That's how sad it was, because a good product must be associated with Harare. But I said, no, man, I'm here. And I even had people, man, from Harare coming to be interviewed this side, because the show had been so good. I even had people from Kekwe, Guero, and I interviewed them on that show, because people say, no, man, we're coming, you know? So I got to do that. And I think I did well in terms of that. So, yeah.
Awesome. I remember Fashion in Star 2009, though I think I knew you, first of all, as a continuity presenter. That's when I saw you first time on TV as a continuity presenter. But, you know, like, you don't pay attention, like, hey, tell us the program that are coming and go, you know, it's like, and you know, then on Fashion and Style, like, no, I know this person, but like anyone else, we always thought Fashion and Style was in Harare until then I came to ZBC. And then let's talk about Withered Petals and the film. It was a 2-part or 4-part series, which I happened to be behind the scenes. working with the amazing writer, Praise Shoko, producer director of the show. Why was this story important? And also, do we still have these voices? Because I know even up to today, yesterday, someone I think sent a message to Praise, and Praise posted it on Facebook. I was reading the message earlier about Withered Petals. Do we still have these stories being told? Are we still able to trace the things that are happening, especially for the girl child? Are we still having these voices and being put on TV for something that people can look at and question ourselves to say, what's happening? What can be done? What is the solution?
Yeah. What a time to bring up Withered Petals, King, because a lot has been happening surrounding the girl child, the child marriages, and everything. So that story was a story that touched on the girl child. It really was on Praise's heart, if I can just speak for her there. To bring out stories about abuse, and how these things can happen close to home. Because if you remember, or on the film, the child who was being abused, she was being abused by a brother to her father. You see, yeah. So how close these things can actually come home. But unfortunately, I will say that at the moment, that theme, I haven't seen a lot of it. It's not there, and having brought it up, I think really more should be done, because even what is taking place right now, it can be turned into a theme so that people get to understand the trauma that is associated with even shipping off children at an early age. Yeah. In marriage. It's a very touching subject, and I think as a female, it's one of the subject that's close to my heart, because even with being a mother now, even with my daughter, you closely watch. She's young, but you closely watch, and yeah, I'm constantly talking to her about certain issues. Of course, I color them to her age, but I'm just making sure that she gets prepared to say whatever happens, she'll be able to speak out. She'll be able to tell me. She won't feel that she's the one who is wrong, because in most cases, the girl child will feel that it's their fault. Maybe I was doing something too tight. How did I get raped? Oh, maybe I was wearing something too tight and I enticed that man. I should have worn something longer. We have that thing even to date. There's a tendency of society to teach our girl children to say that whatever happens to you, whether it's a man who has done it or it's a situation in society, it's like we are teaching them that it's your fault. Even you find that now, even as older women, you have a fallout with a man, everyone will advise you in such a way that there's something that you did.
It's wrong, yeah.
Yeah, which is not a good thing that we are passing to the younger children. So I think more stories like that definitely should come through. I hope Praise actually took it into consideration, because she's the one who's very good with drama. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So as an influencer yourself, as someone who's doing so much and in our faces, is there anything that you're doing for the girl child? Is there anything maybe that you're doing even for the boy child? Because right now it's a bit of a complicated mix. Yeah. No one is safe at the end of the day. It's only that girls are more vulnerable when these things happen to them. They may get pregnant and they can be married quite young. And for most boys, like now people come out and you realize that most people were raped, and it was never rape to boys. It was like, whoever I slept with whoever. It was never like whoever an elder person slept with me. No, to boys it was an equal thing. Like I did it. To them it was more of an achievement, even if it was not something that was good at the time. So do you have anything that you're doing for a girl child, if I may ask?
Okay, yes. Thank you for that question, King. Where from about the time when I was doing the program Up Close and Personal, I would get a lot of followers from young ladies, girls who are still in schools, and all that. So what I did, and which I'm continuing to do now, what I did back then, I took whoever comes on board to say, "Oh, Nyasha, I like your show," or whatever. I immediately take on that person and start to work with them. So I had a group. I actually have to revive it, really. It's a good thing you're challenging me. I had a group whereby I was speaking to them about life. Whatever challenges, I would say, you can speak to me. At the time, I actually had about 8-10 girls. They're grown up now, and we still talk. But I had that group to say, asking them, what do you want to do in life? What do you want to do? What challenges are you facing? Just trying to give them some direction. Because if there's anything that we don't have, it's mentorship. I never had it, you know. Yeah. And sometimes you feel, who can I talk to? You know, yeah. I can say I had some great mentors later on in life when I was older, like Stella Ngom. But back then, there was never really anyone. So I took on that group until they were over 21. And then, okay, we still chat here and there. But I think as an influencer, I should revive that and do more, really. More can be done. And the greater part about nowadays, we don't have to touch them one by one. Just online, it's easier. Yeah. And it's easier online, and you make a greater impact, and you cut across like much wider than we actually did back then. So that's why I said thank you for that question.
Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So I have one thing that I would like to bring about in terms of your acting career, and then I'll give you an opportunity to talk about anything else as far as acting is concerned before we move forward. I'd like to talk about Ziyanda, taking part in Ziyanda, which was a Zimbabwean South African film, which featured like international acclaimed artists like Lutuli Dlamini, Kakleho, Danke. Yeah. So if maybe you can maybe tell us more about that experience. How was it? Where is Ziyanda now? What's happening with Ziyanda?
Okay, I can't tell you like what's happening with Ziyanda now, because it's like you actually like I think it's a telepathy thing. I actually got off a Zoom meeting with Ziyanda crew. Yeah, with Ziyanda crew, like just before this. So I think maybe it's a telepathy thing with you and I. But yeah. But I can't say much because the directors have sort of asked us to let them speak on the film. But I can tell you, it was great, man. Like knowing and watching Katleko on TV, on Generations, man, it was great coming face to face with her. And the great thing is, I actually got an opportunity while we were doing whatever we were doing. Actually got an opportunity to set up an interview, and she's actually on Up Close. If you follow some of the links on YouTube, you can actually see that I was in close proximity.
Yeah, nice.
So that was a really amazing experience. And I want to say that script is also the kind of script that we need, that the kind of scripts that we were talking about earlier, that speak about some of the things that happened to the girl child. So it's an amazing script. At that time, we only managed to do the trailer, and now I think they are yet to do more things on it. I think on that one, that's as far as I can give you. Lest I overlap.
Awesome. So is there anything in your acting career or television career that you like to talk about before I move on to the DIVA Brand?
Okay. Television. It's such a wide subject. because I was not just a presenter. I was a producer. Oh, I'm a producer. Okay, so now that I'm doing fashion, I'm not saying what. I'm a producer. So there's a lot I did television-wise, and there's a lot of places that I traveled in the country. Just recently, I was in Victoria Falls and whatever. We are doing something for Dubai Fashion Expo. So for television, as a producer, I've done other programs, kids programs, musicals, and then I actually did a game show for couples, which was very interesting. But the game show, I was also a presenter as well, but producing. So the game show was very interesting to check how well partners know each other. Well, there's actually there's a funny story there. There's actually one couple that is still kind of mad at me for some of the questions, because I think they were shocked. They were shocked to discover things that they didn't know about each other. So I think it was quite a good one to help couples to go deeper, because I think couples are used to on the surface things. Yeah, you come into the house. Oh, how was your day? The wife cooks, whatever. We eat, we sleep, we wake up, we take the kids to school. So sometimes they end up missing that depth. So that show kind of like wanted to just reignite certain fires in their unions.
Awesome. You're doing a lot.
But I was on the ITF commercials. I was the anchor there. Mine Entra. I've met so many people through this job. I've got so much social capital. I can hit up someone to say, "Oh, you owe me a favor," and then I, so it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Awesome. How has motherhood changed you? Looking back at the energy, the drive that you had then, and now you're a mother, do you still have the same energy, or where does your inspiration now come from? Because back then, I believe you wanted this for yourself, and now you're a mother.
Yes.
It's only about doing things for yourself, but there is a kid involved. How has motherhood in general changed you?
Your motherhood, it's the game changer. It changes the name of the game. First of all, you have to carry the child. Not to mention how you'll be feeling, carrying that child. There's a lot of feelings and emotions that take place from then. Second of all, you have to breastfeed that child, and you have to raise that child to a certain point before you can go back to work. I tell you, if you don't make a deliberate effort as a mother to go back to the to the who you were before and who you are now as a mother, if you don't put that deliberate effort, believe you me, it's easy to lose that. It's easy to lose the career somewhere. Just I don't have time for that anymore. It's easy to say, I don't have time to doll up anymore. It's just easy to do away with those things if you don't put that deliberate effort. So for me, I said, no, I still want to continue with the career. I still want to continue building my name, because I felt that I was not there yet. I still feel I'm not there yet. So I'm somebody who is still building my career. So the child, I took it as a blessing, and to say, there's my blessing, but I still got to go for what I want to do. So it wasn't easy, trust me. It's not easy to get out of the, no motherhood, you were probably now at home and just always just looking however way you look. But then now you have to get back out there, get back on the horse, get up and go. So for a lot of people, they were surprised to say, oh, okay. She just came back that. It wasn't easy, but I put a deliberate effort to say I want to do that. And concerning my daughter, I mean, she's so lovable, man. You just one look at her, who wouldn't want to make sure that they do the best that they can for this child? So Role model, she's looking at you. Dressing, she's looking at you. What you do, she's looking at you. How you present yourself in the public, she's looking at you. What people say about you, she's going to get to hear it at a certain point. So now I'm careful. I'm careful who's in my circle. I'm careful who I interact with. I'm careful who I let in the house. As a single mother, you discover that if you don't put boundaries to say, okay, fine, King is my friend, but King pelela pandu. You discover that if you ask people who know me, my male friends, I wouldn't just be bringing them. Even if the person is my friend, imagine me saying, okay, this is Uncle MK, this is Uncle Boaz, this is Uncle whoever, this is Uncle whoever. Even if they are your friends, okay, the example that you're setting, how does it then turn out? How does she then see it? Because she doesn't know the difference, okay? So I had to put boundaries.
Awesome.
So I can set a good example for her. So that's why I'm saying it's the game changer. Life is not your own anymore. There is somebody who is looking at that life, and you are the first role model. There's nobody else. Now at least there's the teacher. Awesome. She can also point out the teachers. At least now there's another role model to look at.
I think I should identify our celebrities in the country who became parents and have this conversation on parenthood some time. I think it would be an interesting talk show. But moving away from that, let's talk about the brand Diva. You've been a brand yourself that dresses yourself. People don't know this, but you've been doing stuff for yourself for a long time. Where did this move from dressing myself, designing things that I wear, to taking this to something that you then say, I think this is a potential business, let me try and also sell this to people? And how has that been? How successful is the Diva brand at the moment, and what's the vision?
Okay. Thank you. That's the one I'm most passionate about. Okay. There's different things that I can point out to say this is what inspired me. So I hope I will be able to just pick out all of them. But I will start with where we were just now. Motherhood, the game changer. The game changer. Okay. You're in arts. You are in the arts industry. People know you. They know your name. They know your face. They know who you are. Okay. Picture just being there for the next couple of years. We all know that the incentives are not as good. The money is not as good. So I pictured being there after so many years, and then Andile is looking at me, Mama, where's your house? Where's this? Where's that? You know, what were you doing with all this fame? And then I said, because people know me, they're going to come. They're going to follow this brand because they know me. So I was now saying, okay, I'm going to ride on this and make sure that this brand doesn't just come to in vain, to say people knew me, then that was it, and that was the end of the story. Hence, that's why it's called the Diva brand, because it's actually mirroring my transition as well, even from just being a TV person, but to being a mother and a businesswoman, where you look at a child and you think, okay, what am I going to leave this young one here? If you were to eavesdrop on some of my conversations with her, I will be saying, Andy, I'll be teaching her, okay, a salary you get once a month. When you're a boss, you get money all the time. Then I'll be watching and I'll say, what do you want to what do you want? Then you say, I want to be a boss. So it's something that I already say, no, I need to instill this thing at a very tender age. But the passion for fashion is when I could dress myself in a certain way. Not only could I dress myself, I could go and pick out the fabric, cut and make the pattern, cut and sew, sit on the machine and stitch. At some point, people were asking me, are you sure you're the one who actually sits? Where do you get the time? You know, they just never thought I was that industrious. But I thought it's a passion that I had. And I felt that this passion should translate to funds. It shouldn't just end as a passion. If it ended with me just saying, okay, I'm looking good, people don't know where I'm getting my look. But now when people look at you and they say, oh, I want that, I'll be like, come and buy, you know? So it's good. Even people say, I've even got sales just from people saying, oh, the dress that you were wearing on Facebook, on one of your pictures, I want that. And that translates to sales. So having that following, knowing people and people knowing that you look good actually translates to sales. So I thought now there should be a transition. It shouldn't be just about dressing yourself. It should be about finances. The finances should come in. So I'm not looking about the vision. I'm not looking at just having 2 machines and I'm looking at factory level. I'm going to occupy one of the factories there that were shut down, going to today, and you have the DIVA Brand, and I'll be distributing all over the country, internationally, regionally. That's how big the vision is. It even scares me sometimes. I'll think, oh, then people will laugh and think, oh, what is she really think she's going to do that? But that's how big I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at 1 or 2 people working. I'm looking at 1,000 workers. I'm looking at 10,000 garments being made in one day. That kind of vision that I'm looking at, and I'm passionate about it at this point. And I will stop at nothing to keep going on in that direction. Yeah.
Awesome. I wish that we had the whole day to talk, because I feel like we've been scratching on the surface, for different pieces of a brand you are and everything that you are. But maybe before I let you go, how do people get in touch with the DIVA Brand, with Nyasha Mtamangira, the television person, the actor? How do people get in touch with you? If anyone has a business proposal, or if anyone wants to get in touch with you, either for help or anything else, is there a platform that is dedicated to that?
Oh yes, there is definitely a platform that's, in fact, quite a number of platforms dedicated to that. You can go directly. I've got a page, Nyasha Mtamangira. I've got another page, Nyasha DIVA Mtamangira, that's Facebook. And then on Instagram at Nyasha DIVA, on Twitter at Nash DIVA. And then I've got a page specifically for the DIVA Brand. It's the DIVA Brand. And then there's of course the WhatsApp number, +263 773 306 477. Also, I'm a great MC. I look good, and I make the event great as well. Just thought I should mention that, since I'm talking about platforms to contact me.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It was a really pleasure having you on the show.
It was so amazing. I could talk on and on. I hope I wasn't talking too much.
No, you were talking necessary things. It was necessary for you to talk. This was King Boaz, and I was talking to the queen, the diva, Nyasha Mtamangira, all the way from the city of Kings. Until next time, this is earGROUND, new voices amplified.
kuti iende atimboda earGROUND yakaipa mazviziva. Anzi ndiyo inongotora mikombe yose saka musarwadziwa. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Aineti kudzokorora earGROUND Zimbabwe.
earGROUND Radio. New voices amplified. earGROUND.